2 former Meta employees.
Both laid off.
I went from recruiting top engineers at Meta
to building something that actually feels like me.
No safety net, no title, just figuring it out.
And we're done pretending it was easy.
We're Stripped Naked, the podcast for creators, professionals, and entrepreneurs
who are done with the highlight reel.
Raw,
real, rebuilding.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of Stripped Naked. And as you see in the title, it's the origin, the pause, and the real vision. And I am Marissa, one of your co-hosts of Stripped Naked. And June is here with me as well. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Happy Hump Day. I'm June, your career strategist, content creator, millennial mom, and certified STEP instructor.
Yeah, do you have anything else to add to that?
I'll keep this short.
And I'm Marissa, a UGC content creator as well as a strategist, and I'll probably add some more accolades in there somewhere because I got to keep up with June. So, I know there's been a lot of questions coming around our name and how everything went in. So we're going to go start at the very beginning where the name came from, Stripped Naked. And we're going to walk you through it. And then we're also going to see what June thought about the name. So really quickly, Stripped Naked, back in, I want to say, late 2020, early 2021, I had a vision of starting a podcast to talk about being authentic and raw and real online and a safe space for people to show who they really were. And it's about stripping the layers that you've been trained to put on the minute you step out of your front door. And I wanted to create that space to build that in. So it started off with another partner and we were ready to go, but something came up with my other partner here and she decided to leave the project and I sat on it. And, life got in. I took 2 jobs and life got in the way. And then when I met June, I was like, hold on, I have this vision. What do you think? And June had a vision too about a podcast. And she was sharing some names. I was like, actually, I have the perfect name, June. I was like, are you ready for it? And when I told her Stripped Naked, what did you think, June? Tell me about your honest opinion about it.
Honestly, it was like, Stripped Naked. Is this a PG-13 podcast? What are we talking about here? Or rated R podcast? But then
when you sat on it, because I didn't say anything, I just said Stripped Naked, and you sat on it. What did you think after? Because I just stayed quiet. I was waiting for you to go through the whole thing.
I loved how you just kind of dropped the news on me, and then you let me sit with it. And then I said, without you even telling me, I said, oh, I know what this podcast is about. It's like with all the changes that's happening with the economy and our jobs and, people pivoting, new careers, starting from scratch. We're stripping down from nothing, bare bones, and learning how to find our way again. We're kind of starting from scratch and being stripped of everything from us, our jobs, our job titles, the companies we worked for, all of these experiences that are on our resume. It's kind of stripped from us because the economy, right? And then that's how it all started. And then what happened?
And then it's like I had to coax you a little bit more because then you were linking like, oh my God, it's going to live on LinkedIn. It's going to go on podcasts. It's going to be on our socials. And I still said, I was like, we have to lean into it because there's a stigma around these words, right? Yeah. Like when you think stripped, you're automatically thinking of going to a strip joint. And then when you think naked, it's just it's just the truth. When you think naked, it's like you're being vulnerable because you're showing your true self on that. And, one thing that we haven't spoke about that I just thought here is both of us coming from different culture and backgrounds on it. To me, being naked when I grew up with it, it wasn't as stigmatized as it is here in the States. It's kind of something it's natural. It happens. Like I remember going to grade school and there was a little boy and a little girl and they're literally like naked but walking to school, but it was never a bad thing. It was only made a bad thing when I came here to the States and I went to a Catholic school and I was brought to a room. It was like, how dare you bring a little naked little girl into the classroom? And it was nothing sexualized. It was just two innocent little drawing. It's just a Swedish artist, by the way. And it was just, that was my first introduction to how it's visually different or in this, and I was in first grade.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just like I wanted to get rid of that stigma because we're just stripping away all the layers that we've been told to do to put on and all these masks. It's like, oh, you have to act this way in your corporate life, and then you have to act this way in your personal life, and then you have to act this way in like, with your friend settings. Like, but why are we always putting all these masks? Like, why do I have to act differently?
Yeah.
I'm not being authentically me at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I wanted to lead with that. So I love the fact that you're like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, because it's like we're kind of stripping away from all these filters, right?
Mhm.
Of how we are censoring ourselves and our ideas, right? Because for me, I feel like once I've stripped down those layers of filters and imposter syndrome and self-doubt and what I think society wants me to show up, once I stripped all of that away, I feel like that's when the magic happens, when you become your true authentic self. That's when opportunities start to arise. That's when you're able to really, hone into your creative thinking and create opportunities for yourself, is when you just strip away from all of that BS. And that's why I kind of love that analogy of being stripped naked, where you're kind of getting all those layers off of you and then building body armor. I've always experienced, me and my metaphors, analogies, body armor of resilience. Right, Timel? Yeah.
I know.
I hear Timel in the background.
You should have seen his face. He's like, oh. But it's true. It's just like, but that's how people connect with you. They connect with who you really are. They're not connecting with like the fluff and they want to connect with real life, real people, real humans. That's actually why UGC is so good. And it's actually exploding in the market because that's what it comes down to. It's like they're connecting to the human experience. They're not connecting. Like if you see a commercial that we grew up in and they have like the perfect dinner table, the children are perfect. Come on now. That's not real life. Like, kids are running around and there's chaos. There's dogs barking in the background. There's boyfriend playing games in the background that happens, and it's coming in. It's real life. This is how we're showing up. We're showing up authentically as ourselves because life is not a one-track mind. Life is not perfect. Life is messy. There's different layers of it. So that's how we're diving into it all that way. Right?
I love that. Yes. People like to buy from real people, right?
Exactly.
People want to see themselves in all of these ads, right? I mean, that's what takes my money, is when I see all these millennial moms saying, I use this to stay organized. I use this to kind of help with parenting. That's what I buy into, is, they're speaking my language. So that's what motivated me to start this new business in UGC and creating a creator business, because I always loved doing content creation for my business, right? I always loved using content to promote the companies I used to hire for. And now, post layoff, I thought, oh, I can still leverage these skills and create a business that I own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Utilizing my voice, utilizing my creative thinking. And that's what kind of ultimately landed me in UGC. And by the way, this week I am going to be graduating from UGC. Hopefully I pass the test. But I cannot wait to share my portfolio with the world and talk more about how content creation and also really want to educate people in our communities the differences between UGC and influencer marketing, right?
Yes.
And I think that also opened up my eyes to UGC is such a great side hustle to have, especially in this era of mass layoffs, because anyone could do it, right?
Yeah, anybody can do it. And a couple of things that you said as you were talking about it is just like people are gonna buy into June because June is authentic and she's showing how chaotic life can be, but you're still showing up for yourself. And one thing
Right.
that we had with working with other companies is that you were still filtered because you were filtered into that company's vision. You weren't using your actual filters, you were actually applying extra filters because you couldn't show who you really were because of the fact that you were developing and employing for somebody else's vision. Right now, you're actually deploying your vision and those filters are coming off. So they're seeing who June is overall. That's the one thing I wanted to drop from what you were just saying. The second thing I want to say is that I need to, you need to get a round of applause because you invested in yourself. You did a 90-day program. You're coming in the other end with, knowing how to script write, knowing how to film and edit videos better, because it wasn't that your content was bad, but now you have a strategy behind it. Now you have a portfolio that people can land onto it. And you've brought on a community that is going to support you along the way. And a business bestie over here. So it's just like, and getting out that you said hopefully. No, it's not hopefully. You're going to rock in this business because even before you graduated, you already secured deals, right? Mm-hmm. Because of your online presence, because of the skills that you've learned through it. And it's something that we can do. So it's like, if you want it to be a side hustle, it can work as a side hustle. If you want it to be your main stream of income, you could also make it your main stream of income. You don't have to pick and choose, but it's something that you have to put work into because it is work. I'm not going to say it's oh my God, you know?
Yeah. And I think that's, what I love about this podcast too is, this podcast is for creators, professionals, and entrepreneurs, but we're also utilizing it as a platform to educate people, right?
Yep.
What can you do to make multiple streams of income? I think it's
exactly.
very important. There's nothing wrong working in the corporate world, the traditional 9-to-5, nothing wrong. It's just not for everyone. I've kind of lived through that experience in the past, I'm going to age myself, past 30 years of working. Is it 30 years of working? I've been working since So, hello to all of our IG friends. Look at us. We're on LinkedIn. But I see Lisa, Mocha, hey, Susanna, hey. On LinkedIn, if you want to head over to LinkedIn for the full experience. But what I'm saying is, what I've learned through UGC Academy is content creation is a skill. It's not a hobby. It's not a passion project. It's a lucrative industry that companies are going to pay you, right? And think about it, Marissa. I'm going to call you Riz. How many people are spending 5+ hours a day, a week on social media? Just doom scrolling, just consuming content. Wouldn't you, I said this before on one of my stories, wouldn't you rather take that time and be productive and create content and monetize your social media hobby?
Absolutely. Right? That's why I did it. Like, I'll tell you, I was doing content creation, but I didn't know how to monetize it. And, the course that we jumped into, showed us that framework that we needed. And it's just it's taken it to a different level. And I freaking love it. I'm not gonna lie. I love doing it. And it's just, a lot of people are very afraid especially in our generation, right? Because people, like everybody, there's content creators that you see that they're in their 20s. They were born with a phone in their hand. Like, you know, it's natural to
Right.
them. But what I'm
Right.
seeing here more and more is like people like elder millennials, zennials, I think they're called as well, the Gen X, right? Is it that one? They're afraid of putting their face in front of a camera and editing. And guess what? These quick edits, I was on a call earlier today, and it's like all these quick edits that you see, these like Gen Alphas put out there and all of that, that works great for their generation. But if you get older, like I'm saying like 50s, 60s, that crowd doesn't care about that. They want you to talk to real about them, about their personal life.
Exactly.
Decisions, and just be direct. Like you don't need the cut, the sound effect, because you're not going to connect with that. So it's just like, my thing is like, don't be afraid, because you're looking at what others are doing, but not what your demographic needs, and just shoot out that way. So I will say that it's like, give it a chance, give it an opportunity. You have so much skill sets, and the job trajectory of the employment trajectory is changing. We were trained to find a good job and chase the job titles. That's not the thing anymore. People want to live a more holistic life. They want to be able to travel. They want to be able to spend time with their families. They don't want to be like, okay, when I'm 50 or 60, let's go on that dream vacation. No, they want to experience that now. So this type of job will give you the opportunity to have those experiences now with your children when they're young, with your significant other, when you could still, you know, do that hike and all of that. You don't have to miss out on life anymore because you were chasing someone else's dream. You're now chasing your dream and doing it with something that you could showcase and show others. Hey, it is possible to do it as well.
Okay, really good. I gotta get those sound effects in order. But but I do want to say this. I do want to say this. I feel like you know, I enrolled in UGC Academy, I think in February, I believe, after my first couple of weeks. And then I think you touched on this too a couple of episodes ago, where we talked about the importance of investing in ourselves, right? How you just need to have some kind of program or vehicle where you could take the skills that you have, whether it be in corporate or, you know, from your business, put your skills in that vehicle, and that vehicle is going to create, here I go with my analogy and metaphors again, that vehicle is going to take you to the road. Stop, I mean my cheesiness. It's going to take you on your own roadmap of success, right? And that's what it did for me. Is after UGC Academy, my first couple of weeks, I saw the opportunity of how much money I can make through content creation, right? I landed my first deal within 2 weeks, first 4-figure deal. And then I thought, oh my goodness, I can incorporate these skills that I'm learning in UGC Academy into my own business as a career strategist. Because 60% of my income right now is coming from career coaching, right? But what I've been doing is I've been literally building my career portfolio, business portfolio, and picking all of the projects. Gotta practice looking in the camera. Picking all the projects and all of the work that I love to do and kind of making my own dream career, dream role, right? And I'm not only doing career coaching, but I'm also doing content creation. And I've mapped out my days because, you know, I'm tired of being in the messy middle, right? That we are in. And I know we're working together as far as keeping each other accountable and creating these time blocks, right? And I feel like UGC has definitely given me like the framework to be a little bit more productive in my day, where I feel like for me as a content creator, I am the most creative in the morning. So I block half of my days just for content creation, working on client videos, working on my own business. And the last half of the day is coaching, right? I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'm just, you know, I'm summarizing that how UGC MA really kind of catapulted this new career for me that I love.
It's actually a great pivot to talk about we went quiet last week. We were supposed to go with this episode live last week, and why we did that. So doing the complete pivot here, let's talk about it as to why we went quiet, because the messy middle is hard and you're figuring it out, and we're building in real time. And last week we overextended ourselves. There was just a lot of different projects.
Yeah.
I am a program manager, project manager, trainer in my head, and it got really fuzzy for me. Like, it was just a lot going on, because I'm also doing UGC. I'm also coaching UGC creators within the UGC Master Academy. And then, we have Strip Naked, and then add in life, So we did take a pause, and we had to kind of like recalibrate, realign ourselves, and be like, okay, does Tuesday really work? No, Tuesday is not the best ideal time for us. Let's swap it over to Wednesdays. Wednesdays is our creative day. It's our day that we can really focus and show up and do everything we need to do. And what did we also add in? We added in Sundays. Sundays is a good time for us to brainstorm, So it's like, it's quieter. We did 90 minutes earlier this week, and we just knocked it out. But we had to realign ourselves, because we were trying to make the original plan fit into our schedule, and it was breaking us. We had to completely shatter the plan and be like, okay, what's going to work with us? Because we have two very different lives. Yeah. It's like we have two very different schedules, and we had to meet in the middle. And that realignment from last week, and making sure that our mindset was right, because it was affecting our mindset, because we wanted to show up for each other, but we couldn't, because everything else was getting else in the way. Yeah. Which led to what in your end? Like, if knowing, because you told it to me last week, knowing that you weren't able to show up the way you wanted to for this podcast, what was it doing to your mindset?
I felt like it almost kind of paralyzed me, where it's like I was overthinking and I wanted to do it, but I felt just very overwhelmed, because I just felt like I just had so many, I was onboarding new clients. My hours are also getting increased at the current company that I'm coaching for, which is all exciting. I just felt kind of like almost defeated, where it's like, okay, I still want to show up on the podcast, but I know I'm not going to be 100%. So, and I think what I realized from last week, and I'm so glad that what I am so glad that we took a pause, is I understand why I was frustrated and why I was overwhelmed, because I was kind of switching hats on different Junes. There's a career coach June, there's a content creator June, there's the mom June, there's a step instructor June. That's not sustainable, right? So what we did on Sunday is you provided me some constructive feedback. I gave you a corporate answer. That's another episode. But what I realized, because I want to protect our time and energy, and I'm kind of, I've never been in this position where, yes, I had my own business before in the pandemic, but that was just strictly career coaching, right? I'm in a position now that I know I have a good idea of what the skills I have to bring to companies. It's not only career coaching, it's content creation, it's, marketing, like all of these skills I can do. I am creating different streams of income because of that. And because that's almost kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Where that's going to bring you a lot of success. But if you don't have your systems in place, and if your days are not structured, you're just kind of a dog chasing its tail, right? Mm-hmm. So what I came to find out through our work on Sunday is I need to have structured days. I need to have days where I'm just coaching. I need to have days where I don't take coaching calls, and that's going to be today. Wednesdays are going to be my days where I'm not taking any career coaching clients. It's going to be more of my day where I'm catching up on my personal branding clients, as well as just focusing on the podcast and any other tasks that I need to do for my creator business. What was that like for you, though, as far as what was going on in your mindset about not wanting to show up last week?
I was trying to, like you said, I was trying to fit all of the pieces of all my different like job opportunities that I was going through, UGC and coaching and Strip Naked, and I couldn't make the puzzles fit, you know? And to me, it's like being a trainer and coaching, it literally has my heart because I have people that I am coaching along the way through the process. And to me, it was making me feel like I wasn't showing up for them the way I was supposed to because my brain was scattered and I couldn't really focus in and give them exactly what I needed. And I felt like I was failing as a coach, which hurt more than anything because I literally love training people. And that's why I love UGC because it's kind of fun and a skip, but you're also training people and talking to them about a product, seeing those clicks happen. Like when people are like, oh my God, this is a solution to the problem that I'm having. It's the same thing I'm seeing with that. So it was really hard for me, and restructuring my whole entire week, being okay, these are the days I have student calls and I have everything planned out for them and I can show up for them like with intention and really be focused, ready for them to help them get unstuck for wherever they're at on that. Also being able to structureize, okay, I'm reviewing certain assignments during certain blocks and I could just wrap them in and just start pushing them out and be really focused on what they have to do because, you know, I want to be the best vision for them because they're relying on me to coach them and guide them and be their mentor. So that was shifted there. And then having timed blocks to pitch because pitching is a numbers game and being intentional. I don't like to send out like massive campaigns. I like to research the brand, make sure that the brand understands where I'm coming from, how I can build a strategy with them, like what's my positioning and building out those blocks. And then for Strip Naked, building out a plan. Like we literally knocked out on our call on Sunday. A quick like layout of what we were doing, but then on Sunday afternoon, I gave myself an extra 2 hours, and from our plan, it's like I literally mapped out May, and then I was like, hey, let me have your review. It's like, what do you think about these things? And it was just so productive that coming into this week, it was just like a breath of fresh air. I felt more inspired. I felt more in tune with everybody. And it's like, I felt it internally, like energy wise, which in turn, I feel that energy shifting with my students as well.
Yeah.
Because of the way I show up, it's a vibration. I love this. It's another conversation, but it's like a vibration thing. And I see the way that they're showing up. And to me, it's like, okay, because I'm aligned, they feel it. They're also getting aligned with me. So I think like last week's pause was so necessary because now I have a clear direction as to where I want to go, that I could lead a lot better by knowing that I needed to pause.
Yeah, same way. Well, thanks for sharing. We do have to wrap up. I have to go pick up my son and daughter from, it's minimum Wednesdays. So I do want to plug in. Hold on, let me see if I can share this. I want to let you know that our podcast is finally on Spotify. So I dropped the link in the LinkedIn comments. I got to plug this in my Instagram link tree, but we're now on Spotify. We're in the process of migrating all of our LinkedIn live streams into this podcast platform. So if you want to re-listen or watch episodes, you can. We definitely share a lot of tips for not only creators, but professionals that are pivoting into new career spaces. But please subscribe. And this month, going into May, we have our very first guest that we're going to be interviewing next week. He's also a former Meta employee, and we're going to share his story. But do you want to end anything? You want to share any additional information for our guests or community?
No, essentially you did a really great job of that. We're going to start having guests. So if you are actually interested, I'm just going to leave it at the bottom. DM us, send us a message. We'd love to hear your story. We'd love to put you on the guest list and see where we're going, because June and I can't, unmask everything together. We have to have other POVs and other people's stories. So we would love to have you in our podcast.
Let us know. We're going to work on having a guest interest form, and we'll probably roll that out next week. Maybe that's something that we can work on together. Marissa, I feel like this is great because we're kind of building this with our community in real time. So by the time we actually do an official launch in June, we have all of the logistics in order.
And what we can also roll out next week is that intake form, because we want our viewers to ask us questions. Like we're gonna have like a set of questions.
Yes.
So we'll talk more about that, because I want to have at least 3 questions that our audience have put in that we can ask every person that comes through and update them as we go.
Yeah, I love that. Yes.
All right.
I love that. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Bye.